When facing a disagreement with the local electrical company regarding a service upgrade, several steps can be taken to resolve the issue. These steps involve clear communication, understanding of electrical codes, and potential compromise. Firstly, explain the code compliance. Remind the electrical company that the installation meets the requirements of NEC Section 9.1R and that the inspector has approved it. This provides a solid foundation for your argument, emphasizing that the work adheres to established standards. Secondly, address their concerns. Explain that the drip loop and service cable will not expand significantly enough to hang below the roof line, especially since the periscope is 24 inches above the roof. Provide a rationale based on the physical parameters of the installation. Offer a compromise. Consider installing a slightly larger periscope or using a different type of drip loop material that is less susceptible to expansion. This demonstrates a willingness to work with the electrical company to find a mutually acceptable solution. Contact the local authority. Reach out to the local inspector or building department to confirm that the installation is compliant and to assist in mediating the issue. An independent verification can strengthen your position. Document and escalate. Keep a record of all conversations with the electrical company, including their concerns and your proposed solutions. Detailed documentation is essential for tracking progress and providing evidence if further action is needed. If direct negotiations fail, escalate the issue to the electrical company's management or the contractor responsible for the installation. This ensures that your concerns are addressed at a higher level. Seek legal advice as a last resort. If all other options are exhausted, consider seeking legal advice to enforce the NEC compliance and the inspector's approval. A legal perspective can provide clarity on your rights and options. Additional considerations include environmental conditions. Verify the temperature range and typical weather conditions in the area to support your claim that the expansion will be minimal. Use this data to reinforce your argument that the materials and installation methods are suitable for the local climate. Material selection is also important. Use high-quality materials for the drip loop and service cable that are rated for outdoor use and resistant to expansion. Selecting appropriate materials can alleviate concerns about potential issues. Professional consultation is another valuable step. Consult with a reputable electrician or engineer who can review the installation and provide an independent opinion on its compliance. Their expertise can provide additional validation of your work. NEC Section 9.1 specifically allows for the use of supplementary non-metallic protection for service entrance cables where they are exposed to physical damage. This section is important because it acknowledges that additional protection may be necessary in certain situations and provides guidelines for its implementation. When the electrical company raises concerns about the expansion of the drip loop and service cable, it's essential to address those concerns with specific, factual information. For example, explain that the linear expansion coefficient of typical service cable materials is quite low. For aluminum conductors, the coefficient of linear expansion is approximately 13 microinches per inch per degree Fahrenheit, or 23.4 micrometers per meter per degree Celsius. For copper conductors, it's about 9.3 microinches per inch per degree Fahrenheit, or 16.7 micrometers per meter per degree Celsius. Using these values, calculate the expected expansion over the range of temperatures experienced in the area. For instance, if the service cable is 30 feet long and the temperature range is 80 degrees Fahrenheit, the expansion of an aluminum conductor would be approximately 0.37 inches, which is hardly significant enough to cause the cable to hang below the roof line. Similarly, the expansion of a copper conductor would be about 0.26 inches. Regarding the drip loop, you can use materials such as cross-linked polyethylene, or XLPE, which has excellent thermal stability and resistance to deformation at high temperatures. High-density polyethylene, or HDPE, is another option, offering good strength and resistance to environmental stress cracking. These materials expand minimally and maintain their shape, even under prolonged exposure to heat. When discussing the installation with the electrical company, emphasize that the materials you've chosen are specifically designed to withstand the local climate conditions. Provide data sheets and specifications for the drip loop and service cable, demonstrating their suitability for outdoor use and resistance to thermal expansion. Also, highlight any certifications or ratings that indicate compliance with industry standards. To further alleviate their concerns, propose additional support measures for the service cable. For example, install intermediate supports along the ENT conduit to prevent sagging and maintain proper clearance. Use appropriately sized clamps and fasteners that are designed for outdoor use and can withstand the expected loads. Also, consider using a strain relief device at the point where the service cable enters the periscope to minimize stress on the conductors and connections. In addition to these measures, it's helpful to have a clear understanding of the electrical company's specific requirements and concerns. Ask them to provide documentation or written specifications outlining their expectations for service installations. This will help you to address their concerns more directly and demonstrate that you are taking their feedback seriously. If the electrical company continues to resist despite your efforts to address their concerns, it may be necessary to escalate the issue to a higher authority. Contact the local building department or electrical inspector and request a meeting to review the installation. Explain the situation and provide them with all relevant documentation, including the NEC code references, the inspector's approval, and your communications with the electrical company. The building department or electrical inspector can serve as a neutral third party to mediate the dispute and ensure that the installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. If the issue remains unresolved, consider consulting with an attorney who specializes in construction law or electrical regulations. An attorney can advise you on your legal rights and options and can help you to navigate the dispute resolution process. They may also be able to negotiate with the electrical company on your behalf or represent you in court if necessary. Remember to document all interactions with the electrical company, the building department, and any other parties involved in the dispute. Keep records of all phone calls, emails, and meetings, and retain copies of all relevant documents, such as permits, inspection reports, and correspondence. This documentation will be invaluable if you need to pursue legal action or file a complaint with the regulatory agency. Regarding the NEC Section 9.1, it is crucial to understand its full scope and limitations. This section allows for the use of supplementary protection, but it also requires that the installation comply with all other applicable requirements of the code. For example, the service cable must be properly sized for the load it will carry, and it must be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. The supplementary protection must also be suitable for the environment in which it is installed and must not create any additional hazards. To ensure compliance with NEC Section 9.1, consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer who can review the installation and provide guidance on the appropriate selection and installation of supplementary protection. They can also help you to identify any potential code violations and recommend corrective actions. In addition to addressing the electrical company's concerns about thermal expansion, it's also important to consider other potential issues, such as mechanical stress and environmental degradation. The service cable and drip loop should be installed in a manner that minimizes exposure to mechanical stress, such as bending, twisting, or pulling. Use appropriate supports and clamps to secure the cable and prevent it from rubbing against sharp edges or other abrasive surfaces. To protect against environmental degradation, use materials that are resistant to sunlight, moisture, and chemical exposure. Consider applying a protective coating to the cable and drip loop to shield them from ultraviolet radiation and other harmful elements. Regular inspections and maintenance can also help to identify and address any potential problems before they become serious. Check the service cable and drip loop periodically for signs of damage, such as cracks, abrasions, or corrosion. Repair or replace any damaged components promptly to prevent electrical hazards. Also, ensure that all connections are tight and secure to prevent overheating and arcing. When communicating with the electrical company, it's important to remain calm, professional, and respectful, even if you disagree with their assessment. Avoid getting into arguments or making personal attacks. Instead, focus on the facts and present your case in a clear, concise, and objective manner. Listen carefully to their concerns and try to understand their perspective. This will help you to build a positive working relationship and increase the likelihood of reaching a mutually agreeable solution. Remember that the goal is to ensure a safe and reliable electrical service for the home, while also complying with all applicable codes and regulations. By working collaboratively with the electrical company, the building department, and other stakeholders, you can achieve this goal and resolve the dispute in a timely and efficient manner. In summary, navigate disagreements with the electrical company by understanding code compliance, addressing their concerns with specific data, offering compromises, and seeking mediation from local authorities if needed. Document all communications and consider professional consultation and legal advice as necessary. Environmental considerations and proper material selection play a vital role in ensuring a safe and compliant installation. By following these steps, you can effectively resolve disputes and ensure a successful service upgrade.